We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling episode 336. And I can't think or talk straight because it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is finally upon us after 365 days of misery and woe. It's finally here. There's belts on the line all over the place, and there's predictions to be had. But I'm going to shut up now. You already know who I am. I am the Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, your man behind the microphone. I am Scholar Jeff. Elsewhere on the screen is the undisputed scholar himself, the always shining light of this show, Scholar Tarek. How goes your day?
WrestleMania! WrestleMania!
Wrestling is quite good.
And quite possibly the worst built WrestleMania in recent memory. My God.
It's a WrestleMania after COVID that actually has fans again. That at this point, that
doesn't excuse the booking. That doesn't excuse the terrible booking that has been this past year of WWE.
It's an incremental improvement. But also joining us today, shaking his head in defiance, is the one and only Scholar Bryan. Scholar Bryan, how's it feel to be so defiant?
It feels good because optimism is not my strong suit. But I will give you that it is WrestleMania. The card, just looking at it without looking at how it came to be, is great. So the actual wrestling should be top notch, but I'm also on the side of Tarek, where it's going to be a feel-good show. You're going to have the fans back. So I agree that is an improvement over what happened last year, but it does not excuse how we got here. Not good. So it's one of those, I am looking forward to it for the wrestling, but giving me any reason to only it goes back to what we've said before. Only one of the matches has been built up enough for me to just be like, yep, that belongs on WrestleMania. And that's it.
I am invested in this build.
Yeah.
Well, hey, even if we're not invested in the build, there's still a lot to look forward to with WrestleMania. I mean, it's WrestleMania.
It's not just the stuff that happens at your party, man. It has to be the us being invested. Like Bryan said, it's gonna be a good wrestling show. It's just looking back on just how this thing was built. It was just, my God. You can tell most of these storylines are very last minute, which is something completely unheard of.
It's
unheard of for WrestleMania.
It's a statement that I say all the time. The show is going to be fun to watch, but why do I care? That's it.
I think we're going to find, I think just our interactions with one another while we're watching this, at least night two, when we're all together watching it at your place, Fool, is going to make it a fun show. But like, the first night is going to be a test just to see how much we actually enjoy the show, not with each other, but by ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? With all these circumstances and all these crazy storylines, good, bad, and different, we got a lot of wrestling to predict here. And at a certain point, especially when belts are on the line, at a certain point, only results matter. So let's dive right into it, starting with night one of WrestleMania. It has been announced that this is going to kick off the show. We've got Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. And champion's advantage. You're right. And this one's going to be fairly cut and dry. It's not 100% certainty, but I am still fairly certain that Drew McIntyre is going to win back the WWE Championship at WrestleMania Night 1. Tarek, your pick next. Who do you got?
This is going to be something that's going to be. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It's going to be a specific viewing, I guess, is how I'm going to look at this show. I think certain things are. I think certain thing is going to happen, and it's going to start with this. And yes, Drew McIntyre is going to win the WWE Championship off of Bobby Lashley. And continuing what Bryan and I discussed maybe a couple weeks ago is that, yeah, now that it looks like there's not going to, because of what happened on SmackDown, there really is going to be no pre-show matches happening on the WrestleMania. And it's going to start with Drew winning the belt first. He's going to be one of the first people wrestling at WrestleMania and winning the championship in front of a live crowd.
Yeah, it's the deal. He's gonna be the first one out. He's going to be the first one that the crowd sees at WrestleMania. Anything else, just like if there's one guy in the WWE who deserves that spot to be the first person that the returning crowd sees. Okay, it's that guy. That's it.
All right.
Okay,
So
sure,
the big
Jeff,
question is, hey, I like my agua.
But
I'm sorry, it just made me think of Rock and Kurt Angle. Sure, Rock, drink up.
Yeah,
you remember that fake interview?
Oh yeah.
But the deal here is with the way they've built this up and the way that they've made this could have been like a more 50-50 thing if they kept Bobby Lashley the way he was when he won the title, but with what they've done to him in the month since, okay, he's turned into someone. They've turned this into a feud where it's like you want to see Drew McIntyre win, because this is not the Bobby Lashley that I want as the champion. This guy that I see on the screen right now, no. The one that I saw that took out the Miz in about 30 seconds, yes. The one I see now, no, I'm good.
But does that
necessarily gone.
Drew McIntyre wins.
And there it is. So we've got our consensus kicking things off, but now let's get a little interesting here. We also have on this show, match card, day one, whatever your kerfluffle, whatever you want to call it. We've got a women's tag team turmoil match, which constant revolving door of competitors here. We've got the teams of Naomi and Lana, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, the Riot Squad, Natalya and Tamina, and Billie Kay and Carmella. Just announced today officially. Tarek, I believe it's your pick. Who do you got?
It's nice to see that they actually did mention Carmella and Billie Kay and not accidentally post it all over the internet earlier in the week before.
Because Twitter is silly.
Yes, they are. But my God, this is a match I don't give any shits about. Oh God. I'm just right now just picking a group out of my ass on this one. I'm just gonna go with Naomi and Lana, because they're the only ones that more like on the side of Lana. She's the only one that actually has some kind of story about this. I don't care about Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. I don't care about. It's actually kind of sad to say I don't care about the Riot Squad, but hey, that's what happens when the booking is absolutely horrible. Natalya and Tamina, that's what happens when you have Tamina on your team. And it would be a little fun to see Billie Kay and Carmella, but it's got to be a face team, and if I had to pick between one of the two face teams, it has to be Lana and Naomi, because I don't like Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Either separated or a tag team. I'm not a fan of them. So,
Bryan, your pick. Who you got?
I thought that this was gonna be
Oh yeah, right.
a
It's going to
difference
phase
that
two.
I thought that this was going to be a difference that we had, but you know what? Yeah, Tarek said it. Okay, if you're going for something that makes sense, and you're not just throwing something at the wall to see if it sticks, you got to go with Lana and Naomi here, because Lana has the storyline with, and yeah, you could say they blew it off, but what better way to blow it off than a WrestleMania match? So I my dark horse is Billy Kay and Carmella, because why the hell not? But I'm going with what makes sense, and that might be stupid because of the company that we're talking about, but what makes sense in this case is to give Lana and Naomi the shot, because they actually have history with the tag team champions. So yeah, I'm going Lana and Naomi too.
Oh boy, I can't. I still have doubts with a match like this. I still have doubts that they're gonna do something crazy, like the dark horse pick of Billy Kay and Carmella are gonna pull out of their butts, or the Riot Squad is gonna finally have their big win that they deserve. So I'm like, ugh. Do I meet up? Do I do the same thing as everybody, or do I attempt to roll the dice here?
The tag team that no one saw coming because it hasn't been announced yet. It's going to be Bayley and Peyton Royce. The only two women that actually don't have a match, don't have anything on this card.
No, I'll tell you, dark horse. The returning Becky Lynch and Charlotte. What?
Oh, woof.
Okay, now you're just talking nonsense.
No. It's not going to be Charlotte. It's going to be Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey.
Oh shit! Teaming up,
man.
Why the hell not? If we're talking nonsense, that's it. No, that's it.
We're joking about this, but just watch. It's going to be like the Hardy Boys returning at WrestleMania, and that's what's actually going to happen. Oh God, no.
No, that will just
oh
be like,
boy.
We spoke this into existence. I am so sorry.
I'm never sorry for pulling bullshit things that may actually happen.
You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna be a coward. I'm gonna go with Naomi and Lana. I will not. There comes a time to innovate and think outside the box and be brave and follow your heart. I'm just not feeling this one. I'm not taking this bet. Naomi and Lana.
Not when Goldie's on the line.
No, sir. No, sir. Not when Goldie's on the line.
There are times to be brave, and there are times like these. That's it. No.
Speaking of being brave, let's move on to the next match on our card. We've got Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. It's been a long time coming. Fool, I see you already nodding your head, but
it's Brian, not my go. It's Brian's go.
Bryan, it's your go. Who do you got?
This actually have me have thoughts.
Oh, this is the one you have thoughts about.
Because I see the look on Tarek's face right now. And I'm like, yes. This is Cesaro's first singles match at a WrestleMania. It should be time for a big push. And I am going to go with Cesaro winning. But I could see the way that they built this match up is purely on the swing. So as much as I hate to say it, even though I'm going with Cesaro officially, I can see them doing it so that Cesaro gets to pull off the swing. He gets like 50 rotations on the swing, but Rollins pulls it out. I can see it, but I'm not going with it. I'm going with Cesaro because that's what I want. Going with my heart on this one.
You see Rollins pulling it out before the climax. Good for you, Bryan.
All right, I'm going to bypass that entirely. I'm just going to go. I'm going to pick Cesaro to win, and it's just going to be a straight win. There's not going to be no shenanigans, no, just Cesaro, straight up Cesaro. Tarek, take us home and make it quick. Just say what you need to say.
When it comes to Cesaro, it'll be very quick because, my God, that man is amazing.
Get the towels ready, Chad.
No. There's not going to be enough towels to cover up this climax that I'm going to have when Cesaro does those many swings and makes Seth Rollins tap out in the sharpshooter afterwards. I'm going with Cesaro for the win.
Fuck that neutralizer.
You think it's going to be a neutralizer?
I think he pins him.
Either way, it's going to be beautiful. As beautiful as Cesaro.
Wonderful.
As beautiful as your tears will be when Seth Rollins wins. No, just kidding.
No. Oh man, don't say that.
Before we
there will be a lot of tears, and you'll be the Cartman. It's like, yo, your tears are so yummy and sweet.
Yeah. Before this gets any stranger, let's talk about something a little bit more sane. Oh wait, never mind. We're talking about Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Braun Strowman is going to win this, and then we can finally put this whole ugly feud behind us. Tarek, your pick. What do you think?
Honestly, my corniness was just thinking, all right, with your segue, I thought it was like, go back to something being sane. Sami Zayn. I'm like, oh, you bastard. I hate you.
No, that's on night 2.
That is true. Yeah, it is on. I actually forgot it was on night 2. But I just want to see Shane McMahon jump off the pirate ship. That's what I want. That's all I want to see.
It's not going to be Shane jumping off the ship.
It's going to be. He's
going to try to jump off the cage. Is what he's going to do.
He's going to. God, this is so goddamn stupid. A part of me is even thinking that it's going to be Braun Strowman slam. It's going to be a repeat of whatever cage match that Braun had in the past, and he's just going to slam Shane McMahon on the cage, and he's just going to break the cage, and Shane's just going to roll out and win the match. But I'm also officially I'm going to pick Braun Strowman because Braun. They're going to looks like they're just slowly turning Braun into the next. Undefeated at Wrestlemania.
I sure hope they don't do that, but
they've already done it. He's 3-0. When it comes to Wrestlemania, he's 3-0. And Brian, this will be his 4th.
Brian, what do you think? Do we have an agreement here?
If Braun Strowman loses this match, he's done as a believable character in the WWE. I will never be able to take him seriously again, at all, ever. The train noises make it hard enough. If you have him lose, if you make him lose to Shane McMahon here, I think that Shane McMahon is gonna try to get Braun to do what Tarek said that Braun's gonna do. This entire match is going to be Shane McMahon trying to prove how stupid Braun Strowman is. Okay, and what's gonna happen is Shane McMahon's gonna climb to the top. Braun Strowman's gonna grab him, and Shane's gonna be like, "Throw me, go ahead, throw me," thinking he's gonna throw him to the outside. While Braun Strowman throws him back into the inside, and that's your big bump. And then Braun Strowman wins. Braun Strowman outsmarts the smart one. Because if Shane wins, the story continues. No.
I see them. This isn't even having to do with the match. It just has to do with Braun Strowman's entrance. I just see, you know how they have those animations now for certain wrestlers' entrance?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Now they're going to just do it with Braun Strowman, where his face is going to be, he's going to be Thomas the Tank Engine. His face is going to be on the front of a train.
That's probably the best result that could possibly ever come of this whole mess.
And now all I'm hearing is the Thomas the Tank Engine theme song as Braun is walking out.
Exactly what Braun Strowman saying the entire thing.
I'm like, just with all the train shit, it's hard to take him seriously in the first place. Then you're gonna have him lose to Shane McMahon. No, you can't do it. Braun Strowman needs to win this match. If there's a guy that needs to win a match at WrestleMania, it's this goddamn guy. Get him some of his mojo back. Jesus.
If there's anyone who deserves a win at WrestleMania, it's the new best in the world. The man who's like $500 for a cameo, Shane McMahon.
Shut the fuck up.
All right. Speaking of shutting up, we also have a tag match. We've got the New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos. Or Omos. Okay, Omos. Raw Tag Team Championship. Tarek, I think it's your pick.
It is my pick, and to continue with what I have in mind for this WrestleMania, we're gonna have new Raw Tag Team Champions in AJ Styles and Omos, because that's the reason they took the tag titles off the Hurt Business. That's the reason the New Day is going into this match, just to put Omos over. Not AJ Styles and Omos, just Omos.
Bryan, who do you got?
Omos is gonna kill New Day.
Yeah.
Omos doesn't need AJ Styles. Omos can be tag team champions by himself.
This is his character's debut match. We're not counting the fact that he was a ninja for
Akira
Tozawa. We're not counting the fact that he was a giant ninja. Yeah, this is Omos's first real match.
And he's
as
not
this character.
He's not losing it.
No, absolutely not.
So yeah.
On that we agree. We have an accord. I'm going AJ Styles Omos too. But enough of all that nonsense. Next up, we've got another tag match. We've got Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. Bryan, it's your pick. Who do you got?
If anyone thinks differently than this, then you should just turn off your monitor right now. It's Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are winning this. This is the easiest match to predict of the whole card.
Yeah,
like as soon as it was announced, Bad Bunny versus The Miz, I was like, Bad Bunny's gonna win. Okay, and then they added Damian Priest and John Morrison. I'm like, that doesn't change anything. Bad Bunny's gonna win. Bad Bunny gets the pin on The Miz. We move on. That's it.
Yes, I too am going for Angry Rabbit and Damian Priest. Tarek, do we have an accord?
Yes. I can't add anything more to what Bryan said. This is the easiest match to predict on the card. I think it's slow. I think now that's just what Miz is when it comes to WrestleMania. He is just the easiest match to predict on the card for WrestleMania, because ever since that title match between him and Cena, he's been losing. I think he's lost. No, he won against Shane. Never mind.
He didn't win against Shane.
Yeah, he did. It was that whole taking each other out on the scaffolding, and he pinned him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I was at that WrestleMania, man. I remember.
Erroneous.
Me loving the hell out of that match. I don't even care if it was like, it was just I think it was just being there, just seeing the ridiculousness of Miz Dad.
Oh yeah, Miz Dad.
Oh, is that where the fists came?
Yeah, that's where the fist came from.
There it is. Yep. Okay.
Now, finally bringing us full circle, we've got what is going to be the main event of WrestleMania 37 Night 1. We've got, for the SmackDown Women's title, we've got the champ Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Now, I think I know what the general consensus to this one might be, but this is where I'm going to start rolling the dice. I think it's a little too soon for Bianca Belair to walk away the champion. I think she needs just a little bit more time. As good as she is, she just needs the teensy bit, little more polish. And let's be real, Bianca's not going anywhere. She's doing just fine. She can win the title whenever she wants. I'm just not. It's just my gut says it's just a little, just before the finish line for her. I'm going to go with Sasha Banks to win. Fool.
Okay, first off, yes, I actually was wrong. Shane McMahon did win. Shit. I was like, wait a second. Miz Dad. Oh no, I have to look this up. Yes. Yeah, I don't think Miz won anything since his match with Cena for the title. But yeah, I'm just gonna flat out say that my whole plan is every title is being changed at WrestleMania. So Bianca Belair is winning the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I don't have the titles all changing hands, but
I do.
What put this?
That's my big gamble.
What made my pick simple was when they said it was the main event. Okay, and I'm just like, it's a feel-good show. It's going to be a feel-good show, and you got the fans back. Okay, you've got Sasha Banks acting heelish. Okay, and Bianca Belair at this point is on the hottest run she's ever gonna be. Okay, this is one of those things where you strike when the iron is hot. And it's never gonna be hotter than right now. So based on it being the main event, and as much as the build to this has sucked bad, but you gotta put it on Belair here. You have to.
All right. So that covers night one of WrestleMania.
Is that the only is that the first difference we had so far
on night one? Yeah, it is.
Oh wow, look at that.
Hey, now let's get into the real meat and potatoes of it. Let's talk about night two of WrestleMania, starting with we've got the women's tag match, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus the winners of the women's tag team kerfluffle, whatever. What you know what it is. Who wins? Bryan, I think. Wait. No, it's Fool. It's your pick. Never mind.
My pick?
Yes.
All titles change
hands. Titles change hands. It's gonna be Lana. It's gonna be Lana pinning Nia Jax. They're gonna have Shayna Baszler completely turn against Nia Jax because she's just sick of the bullshit of Nia Jax and Reginald, and Lana's just gonna somehow get the pin on Nia Jax. Yeah, I'm saying new women's tag team champions of Lana and Naomi.
Bryan,
the most ridiculous tag team.
And you know what? He took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the exact same shit. So, yes, Lana and Naomi, new tag team champions. You can finish off that story. You can get Shayna Baszler away from Nia Jax, and you can put Shayna Baszler back where she belongs.
I really don't want to go with Naomi and Lana here. I really, truly do not.
No one does.
No one
don't want to do it.
But I really think about it though. Every single tag team that were in this women's tag team turmoil was complete and utter garbage. It was just a fail all across the board. And
I'll tell you what though. I did have some situations in my head where Like, let's say Billy Kay and Carmella win, but they end up losing on Sunday, and then suddenly Peyton Royce comes in, and the Iconics are reestablished, and they have a feud going on until after WrestleMania, or the Riot Squad finally win, and it's like, ugh, I hate this. Is one of those moments where I hate being so cookie cutter, but it's got to be cookie cutter here. Naomi and Lana, I just can't bet against them. But I think I need something to wash the taste out of my mouth at this point. Let's move on to Riddle and Sheamus for the United States Championship. Bryan, give me something good.
I will. Even though I think Sheamus deserves a reward for all the good work he's been putting in since he came back and started his whole run with Drew, whether as a friend or an enemy. I don't think it's time to take the title off of Riddle yet. So I've got Riddle to retain.
I too have Riddle to retain, I suppose. But again, I don't like it. I want Sheamus to get it, but my confidence is just not there. Fool, do we have an accord?
Considering what I just said at the end of night one predictions,
all
titles are changing hands, man. They're gonna give Sheamus the United States Championship as a way of just be like, all right, you did such a good job and quite possibly the best run of your career so far. We're giving you the United States title just so you can feud with Keith Lee when he comes back.
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah, it's like, this is not me saying that I don't want Sheamus to be United States champion. I would be happy if it turned out that I was wrong on this one, but I'm just not confident at all that apparently Vince McMahon really loves Riddle. So I'm like, I don't know.
This is going to be a very good match, because seeing what we had between these two in past matches, this match is going to be very hard hitting. It's going to just be a very insane match to watch, in a good way, insane.
Yeah, and it's like that just because Riddle retains here doesn't mean if he retains here, it doesn't mean the story's over.
I mean, I'm also looking at the fact that technically Riddle wasn't supposed to win this thing in the first place. So win the United States title in the first place. So I just see him right now being a transitional champion, and even maybe having one more match with Sheamus until Keith Lee comes back. Hell, maybe Raw after Mania, they have a rematch, and Sheamus solidifies the win, and then you bring in Keith Lee and be the first person to win the North American Championship and the United States Championship.
I am the champion of America.
That would mean that WWE main roster would have to acknowledge NXT titles.
Who said anything about us? Who said anything about WWE referencing that? Us, the fans who actually give a shit about what goes on in NXT, will make that connection.
Well, speaking of craziness, here's the one I think is going to get really crazy. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. We've seen it before, but never on a stage this large. I don't care what the result is going to be. It's going to be insane. I'm going to love it, but Kevin Owens to win. Tarek, do we have an accord?
Shit. This is actually the hardest match for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised. I want to hear your logic on this one.
Because a part of me thinks it's just, Kevin Owens ends up, they'll do a quote-unquote repeat of what happened at WrestleMania with Stone Cold, Mike Tyson, and Shawn Michaels, and with what's his name?
Logan Paul being the Mike Tyson turning on Sami Zayn, and then we just get a haluva kick reverse into a KO stunner. But then I also just think maybe they could keep this feud going
and just have Sami like, oh, this whole feud's been one-sided this entire time, and Sami gets the surprise win of WrestleMania.
But what will they do?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I said this on the show, but no matter what the outcome is going to be, I actually want Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to team up and actually win the tag team championship together. But I feel like the best way to do that is to get that kind of outcome is, I guess, for Kevin Owens to basically knock Sami Zayn back to reality. So I'm just going to pick Kevin Owens to win, even though I can see them giving the surprise win to Sami Zayn and keep this feud going.
Bryan, what do you make of all this mess?
I think this is where we get the pirate ship.
You think this is the pirate ship spot?
I think this is the pirate ship spot. Kevin Owens has said for 2 years now he wants to do a pirate ship spot. And I do think Logan Paul gets involved Mike Tyson style. It's just I don't know if it's before the end of the match or after. But I think that Kevin Owens does a senton off the plank and uses that to wear down Sami enough for the stunner, and Kevin Owens gets the win. It's just a question of, it's not a question of if Logan Paul turns on Sami. It's a question of when. Logan Paul is gonna get involved. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to be there at all.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment to make. But as far as big questions, there's one that has yet to be answered, and that is, what the hell is a Nigerian drum fight? That leads us to the Big E Apollo Crews Intercontinental Championship match. It's a Nigerian drum fight. We have no idea what a Nigerian drum fight is. Bryan, who wins this match? And more importantly, what the hell is a Nigerian drum fight?
On just filling out the form for the party championship, I picked the one where it's the drum is the weapon. The drum, a drum is a legal weapon. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even begin to tell you what a Nigerian drum fight is. But this is the last chance. Okay, if Apollo Crews doesn't win here, then everything about him has failed. So I'm not going all titles must change hands, but this one will. I'm going. Apollo Crews has to win this match. He's lost 6 Intercontinental Championship matches against Big E. He's lost 6 of them. Okay. He needs to win this.
See, here's the thing, though.
There is no thing in that.
There are several things. Number one, I feel like Apollo Crews, this whole thing is not working at all.
He has a vendetta against Apollo Crews.
He does. Yeah.
and more importantly, Big E's a hometown boy, apparently. So I can't rule out that they're going to get
their hometown. Come on.
But it's WrestleMania, though. It's not. No, I can't.
Go on, do it. Go on, do it.
See if you're willing to risk Goldie for that claim.
Go on and do it.
You know what? And when we're going to risk Goldie for that claim, I am not. I'm going to be a stone cold coward. And I'm going to go Apollo Crews because I'm a big blubbery baby man. Tarek, bring us home.
I can't add to what Bryan said. Apollo Crews has to win this. If he fails again, might as well just toss him out the door. At least the gimmick. Just toss him in general. Because there will be nothing that make him relevant enough in anyone's eyes. Winning this title is the best thing that he has right now.
All right. I need something to cleanse my palate, both mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Just think of it this way. Just think, how's this for a nice palate cleanser? If Big E loses the title at Mania, it makes him a top contender to win the Money in the Bank this year.
I don't care at all. I was just using that as a transition to talk about The Fiend. Specifically, The Fiend winning against Randy Orton.
Not a very good palate
Fiend,
cleanser. I'm sorry.
I don't care. I still like The Fiend because I like my cheesy 80s horror movie monsters. Fiend is going to eat well tonight. He's going to eat Viper. Tarek, what do you think?
I love The Fiend as well, but ever since he got lit on fire, the feud transitioned from Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton to Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. And I think that as much as I love in love with Alexa Bliss, this story is kind of pushing me away, because now Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, has become more of just he's Bane to Alexa Bliss's Poison Ivy.
He's a prop.
Yeah, exactly. He's a prop. And I think that's what's kind of taking the storyline away from me, because hell, just with Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton was just great enough to even eventually possibly turn this into a Firefly Funhouse, which I don't even think they're going to do. They'll probably do something cinematic, like actual match and cinematic at the same time. But yeah,
it's got to be like that shit show at 33. Whoa. No, just kidding.
I don't know.
Gotta get
now. I'm just looking at the Faye just going.
Return of the Bugs. Just remember them. Remember
only
the worms?
Only if they pull the cinematic touches of once you get the first in-ring stuff and then slowly transition back into a rebuilt, partially burned up Firefly Funhouse going through Randy Orton's career, which will bring a cameo from John Cena, whose soul is still trapped in the Firefly Funhouse, which would make perfect sense considering Randy Orton's history with John Cena. So, but that's just me being extremely creative, which I could see Bray Wyatt pulling some shit like that, but I don't know if they're actually going to do that. Which, if they did do that, I would give this match a lot more points, because that is just so goddamn awesome. Look, just reaching back of Randy Orton's entire feud, and then you just have NWO looking John Cena showing up at one point. I don't know. I would love to see that, but it's not going to happen.
So
I'm going with The Fiend.
You're going with The Fiend. Okay.
I'm going with The Fiend.
That's what I thought you were going for, but I had to make sure it's on the paper. Bryan, do we have an accord, or are you going elsewhere?
We have an accord, but I'm just not excited. I'm just not as excited for this as I should be as a Fiend fan, because first of all, it's been said that they want all the matches to be live because it's in front of fans. They don't want them to be looking at a screen for long periods of time. So I'm not certain we get any of that Firefly Funhouse stuff. And I remember the Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt match from WrestleMania years ago that was kind of shit. So it's I'd rather not see one of those again. But it's quite possible that that's what we're getting, because WWE doesn't understand that The Fiend works best in cinematic style matches.
All
That's
right.
just fact. That's just fact. And WWE, in effect, has killed that character because they don't understand what actually works about the Fiend character. It's not the in-ring. Okay, it's all the cinematic and all that stuff. So it's like when he gets in the ring, I don't care.
That's what made the Firefly Funhouse last year so much of a masterpiece, because it was a cinematic experience that made it work to that advantage because of the COVID situation. It actually helped that storyline over. I think they're just right now, their main focus is to give Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, an Undertaker-esque entrance.
Yeah, they're so obsessed with the fans being there, and you got to have everything in front of the fans. It's got to be live, that they're going to do the Fiend's character a disservice, and they're not going to use what is best about him, which is the cinematics and the out of the ring stuff. They're going to put him in the ring, which is when the problems start to show.
All right, moving on to our penultimate match of this evening. We've got Asuka versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's title. Scholar Tarek, I believe it's your pick. Who do you got for this one?
Rhea Ripley winning the Raw Women's Championship just so she can lose it to Becky Lynch when she comes back.
All right, Brian, are you picking with Asuka, or are you picking Rhea Ripley to lose it to
I'm not
Irish
picking,
ass kicker when she comes back home from Namek?
I'm not picking Rhea Ripley to lose immediately to Becky Lynch when she comes back.
Becky Lynch could lose to Charlotte when she comes back.
I'm going with Rhea Ripley because it makes sense. And it gets her WrestleMania moment back from last year when she should have had it to begin with. And let's face it, okay? Asuka's title reign has been pretty poor.
It is a fail.
So
her title reign has been a fail.
So it's time to move on. And let's put some new blood in it. And you want Rhea Ripley to be a huge star right away? Okay, but build off of. I'm surprised they didn't ever bring up the dominant run in that Survivor Series weekend that basically put her into the eyes of the mainstream of that. They should have bought that up, because then everybody would be all in on this. But it wouldn't make sense to me if you bought Rhea Ripley up, made a huge deal of her, put her in this match, and then had her lose. Doesn't make sense. So Rhea Ripley to win here.
Yeah, afraid once again do you have a consensus here? Rhea Ripley to win. And I do want to go on the record of saying right here that we should have already had new blood in the title scene. We should have had it in the title scene a long time ago. We should have had Lacey Evans. We should have had Lacey Evans as a champion right now. It should have happened. You know it. And then that's just how we got to this mess in the first place.
Just so she could lose it to Charlotte this weekend?
Yes.
That's what you wanted.
No.
Yes.
No,
Jeff.
Sorry.
Jeff.
Sorry. Everyone's better for that not happening. Okay, the last thing I want to see at WrestleMania is Lacey Evans versus Charlotte. And it's not for the reasons you think. I don't want to see Charlotte getting one over on anyone at WrestleMania for the foreseeable future after what happened last year.
You know that's not going to happen, Brian.
I know it's not going to happen. But that's
we're just really lucky. We're lucky that Charlotte is not what's the word? Cleared to wrestle this weekend. Because we know that's gonna be, it would have been Asuka versus Charlotte. With Charlotte winning.
I'm not gonna go that far because I don't know what the issue is. I've heard through the things, and I don't want to be that guy who's like, I'm glad that shit happened and she can't fucking be there. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm also like, it's good that we have new people and different matches at WrestleMania, so we can get some new names in there, so that maybe the WWE won't have to rely on those certain people that they did. That's why I said maybe. Calm yourself. No, just kidding.
All right. All this conversation aside, now we are finally at the main event of night 2. We've got Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan, triple threat match for the WWE Championship. Oh, wait, sorry. I cannot word today. The Universal Championship. Brian, it's your final pick of the evening. Who do you got to win?
Chug that beer for this one.
Chug that beer because I think Tarek's gonna get mad at me.
How on earth is that going to happen?
Going into this, okay, I made my pick about 20 minutes before we started recording this, because I found out some information. I figured it out.
New shit has come to light, man.
That basically put me from about 75% certain about this victor to 100% certain. Okay, I threw Daniel Bryan out right away. Daniel Bryan, to me, was never going to win this match. Okay, they're not going to do the same thing twice. The only reason they put him in that situation in the first time was because the title match that they had at WrestleMania 30 was shit without him in it. Okay, so they put him in, and that worked out like gangbusters. That worked out like awesome. This time, okay, the main event would have been fine without him.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's still shit to me.
Well, yeah, but you have a bias. That's it. So it's like the main event would have been fine without him in it, but they added him in it for a reason. And for me, the reason is he's there to take the fall, so that the other two, whoever loses out of the other two, doesn't look bad. Okay, and then hearing what I heard about a half hour before the show went on the air, there's an anniversary on the day. Okay, this main event is taking place 10 years to the day where Edge gave the promo that ended his career. I've got Edge winning with the spear to Daniel Bryan, and then Roman Reigns will get it back when they do their one-on-one. Edge wins the Universal title in the main event of WrestleMania 37. Boom. Done.
I wish I didn't have to. Oh boy. I don't want to believe you. I don't No, 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 no. I don't want to. I don't want it. No. But that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to go with Edge. Tarek, take us home. What's going to happen?
I honestly don't care anymore. I really don't care. I don't care about anything right now at WrestleMania. I don't care about just what right now. The only thing I'm looking forward to when it comes to this weekend is chilling with you guys. If I don't win Goldie, I don't care. If I do win Goldie, I don't care.
He was excited about this match until I started talking.
That's it. You ruined it, Bryan.
Honestly, no. Bryan didn't ruin shit. I love Bryan. He doesn't ruin shit for me. It's WWE that ruins shit for me. With just making me not give any two shits about what is going to happen. But to keep going with what I said with night 2 or with the end of night 1.
All titles change.
All titles are changing hands, baby. All titles are changing hands.
But is it a consensus, or are you going with the internet troll?
Oh man, that is a very interesting piece of knowledge that they can take advantage of.
But
will they though?
That immediately jumped me up to, yep, for me it's a lock, knowing that.
It's also just the whole thing. It's like, okay, well, Edge is now back to being heel Edge. So do they want to end WrestleMania with a heel winning? With the first WrestleMania, with the first event with fans back? That's the question. Yeah, I think they're going to do that. WWE sucks. So I can see them just be like, yeah, fuck you, fans. So yeah, I can see them giving it to Edge.
Hey, I'm sure that Edge will find some way to make it work, and there's still people who are going to cheer it anyway. So whatever. WrestleMania, it's time to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
No, Edge and Daniel Bryan are both going to pin Roman Reigns. Title will be vacated.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why the hell not? I don't give two shits anymore. I really don't care.
And after all this, we're finally at the end of the road. Those are finally our predictions for WrestleMania 37 this weekend. Night 1 is actually going to be, but this is going to go live Saturday. So yeah, WrestleMania 37 is tonight. Who do you think is going to win? Who is going to walk away with every belt imaginable? Both.
Do you care?
Do you even care? No matter where you are, this is a time where we want to hear from you. So drop us a line all across the internet. YouTube comments, Facebook posts, Twitter posts, join the conversation yourself. Follow us on Twitter, starting at ScholarsOW for all the latest episode uploads, including this one every single week, and fantasy prediction shows and games and prediction forums for all the major pay-per-views, including WrestleMania. So check us out on at ScholarsOW. Fill out a form before 6 o'clock so you can get in and join in the fun, or you can just chat with us on our personal Twitter accounts. Fool, where can I reach you?
You can reach me not giving two shits about this at the Avataric.
And the always effervescent and optimistic Scholar Bryan, where can they reach you?
You can reach me wondering where the magic is at Atomic Beanpole.
And you can catch me and my sarcasm being completely unappreciated at I'm Robbie Rage. Join in the conversation. It's always a ton of fun. And so will this weekend, whether or not WWE chooses to put in effort. We will make it fun. But you already knew that because you know who we are. We are the scholars of wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
See you all at
WrestleMania, baby! Woo!
WrestleMania, baby! Woo! WrestleMania, baby! Woo! You know what time it is.